Despite its huge and cutesy eyes, slow loris is a wicked thing. It might look cuddly, but if it perceives you as a threat, it'll start snuggling into one of its elbow pits, and that's a cue for you to get away fast. These critters have pouches of some of the most potent venom in the world in their little arms, which they take into their cute mouths, mix it there for a bit, and then deliver a bite to you. If it's successful, you'll be lucky to go away on your own 2 feet. The venom is almost as dangerous as that of a cobra, and that's saying something. Still, slow loris isn't the only venomous mammal in the world. The weird but adorable platypus can stand its ground too if needed. Apart from it being a love child of a duck and an otter, it also has venomous spurs on its hind legs for some reason. A kick from an agitated platypus won't send you writing your last will and testament, but it's certainly not something you'd like to experience even once in your life. Now, dolphins aren't venomous, thankfully, but their portrayal as friendly and harmless creatures is largely exaggerated. These marine mammals are highly intelligent, which makes them very close to humans, and just like us, they can be really mean. Of course, there are known cases of dolphins saving people's lives at sea, but if they're not in the mood and see a person stranded on the waves, chances are they'll bully that unfortunate soul. And mind you, a single hit from a dolphin snout can cause serious injuries even in a shark. For a human, well, there's simply no chance of survival. Now, we all love Dumbo with his big flappy ears. But trying to pat an elephant on the trunk in the wild isn't a good idea. Unless you want to be stamped on, that is. Elephants are easily made nervous, and contrary to the popular myth that they see humans as cute, like we do puppies, they actually don't. For them, we're mostly a threat. And with that size and strength, they only need to lift a foot to turn a person into a flatbread. From what their name implies, anteaters eat ants and termites, and they can't bite you as they don't have teeth. But before you reach out to pet this weird cutie, make sure to take note of those claws. They're huge, aren't they? Anteaters use them to dig for lunch, but won't hesitate to leave you a few fingers short. Better admire them from a safe distance. Leopard seals look like big, fluffy sea cats. But even your own kitty can have a bad hair day and give you a nasty scratch. Seals eat penguins, though, so you can guess they're pretty dangerous when agitated. Their teeth are really sharp, and they're known to attack people when they're not in the mood. So try not to interact with them unless you absolutely have to. In the water, catching up with you won't be a problem for a seal. If you travel to New Guinea, you might find a pretty-looking bird there that you don't want to touch. It's called Pitohui, and it's one of the few poisonous birds in the world. That's right, its skin and feathers are covered in a powerful neurotoxin that causes numbness and basically turns off your nervous system. It's the same substance used by poison dart frogs, another cute little animal you should run away from. Just touching Pitohui's feathers will cause numbness in your hands, and locals know better than to hunt this bird. Its meat also contains the toxin. Since I've mentioned poison dart frogs already, take a closer look at them too. Aren't they adorable? Well, this paperclip-sized charmer is actually one of the most dangerous creatures on the planet. Indigenous tribes of the Amazon basin use its poison on their blow darts for hunting, hence the name. And one such dart is enough wherever it hits. Worse still, some of these frogs can turn off all your vital organs if you so much as touch them. You often see raccoons in funny YouTube videos as mischiefs or even pets, and they're not normally aggressive. But a wild raccoon can carry so many terrible diseases that it's not worth tempting fate and trying to touch it. A single bite of this animal can take you on an unforgettable trip to the hospital. Chimpanzee is another animal that may seem like a lot of fun until it's up close and personal. Chimps are naturally aggressive and will start a fight for no apparent reason even among themselves, not to mention other species. And although smaller than humans, they're much stronger than the average person, also boasting big and sharp teeth to boot. Cassowaries are beautiful birds that can be quite passionate toward humans. But just like with anteaters, look at those claws! If a cassowary is discontent with something, it will show its anger by kicking you with one of those huge sharp things, and its beak is nothing to be messed with either. There are known cases of people getting seriously injured, and some didn't survive. And despite them being sometimes domesticated, cassowaries are quite easily distressed, which means you should be extremely wary around them. Coming to your local pond to watch the magnificent mute swans slowly paddling the water, you might want to make sure it's not their mating period. These graceful birds are very territorial, and if you're unlucky enough to get too close when they're mating, well, males can rush up and slap you with their broad wings. Getting away unscathed will prove difficult because the wings are pretty powerful, so you may even end up with broken bones. It could be your swan song. Beavers aren't aggressive, but they can be fierce when you approach them without precautions. Their teeth? Yep, so sharp they can cut through trees, and you'd be wise to remember that when you see one in the wild. Feel free to watch it work on its home, but if you get too close, be ready to back off as soon as it sees you. The charming and clumsy giant pandas are also to be adored from a distance. Although they feed mainly on bamboo, they don't like their feast to be interrupted. If you annoy a panda, it might maul you with both its claws and surprisingly sharp teeth. After all, these animals are related to bears, and it's probably never occurred to you to try to pat a wild bear on the back. I knew a guy who did that once. Now we call him Lefty. If you take a close look at a kangaroo, you'll find out the disturbing truth about their physique. These rodent-like animals are very muscular, and it's not just for flexing. Kangaroos habitually box with each other for mates or food, and they won't hesitate to do the same with a human if they feel threatened. They have powerful tails too, which they use as a spring to kick their opponent with their incredibly strong hind legs. One of those hits, and you might fly a long way. Now, don't believe the depiction of Bullwinkle in the cartoons. Moose aren't at all goofy and cute. In fact, moose attack more people around the world than bears do, and it's up to a debate whether a moose is actually weaker than a bear. Standing easily a full 2 heads taller than the average person, it runs as fast as a horse and has an even more powerful kick. And those antlers aren't just for decoration either. Pufferfish is inarguably wholesome, what with it being able to inflate and all, and it's not really dangerous to humans unless you decide to eat it. Now don't do that, because its poison is 1,200 times way more potent than cyanide. Marine predators have learned the hard way not to hunt these little balls of nastiness. But amazingly, in Japan, pufferfish meat is a delicacy. Only the most highly trained professionals can cook the fugu dish, though, because one misplaced cut and the customer can't be saved. There's no antidote to the pufferfish toxin. And an honorable mention on this list goes to the climbing perch. Native to Southeast Asia, this incredible fish is now moving towards Australia, and people there are alarmed. When other fish or birds swallow a climbing perch, it stretches its gills to the sides, making the hunter lose its breath. This fish isn't dangerous for humans, but it can be quite a sight to see it climbing out of the water and going about its fishy business on shore, which it can easily do for up to 6 days straight.